Alright, so hey guys, I'm with my friend Zach here, and he's a travel influencer, and he has his own social media growth agency and managing agency. And what he's done is use his travel influence to travel around the world and get free hotel stays and get a lot of great deals. Where he was at just in Bali, where he got comped 2K a night hotel stays, and then it's just crazy what he's done with Instagram. And just kind of, can you share your journey into what you're doing today?
Yeah, well, dude, thanks for having me on, bro.
Yeah.
Me and Ray, we've been good friends for a while, online friends. But yeah, basically, guys, in this past year, I've gotten over 170 nights for free in some of the world's finest hotels and five-star resorts for myself and my friends. So anywhere from 2K a night to like 500 a night. I have a Maldives trip coming up in June. That's a 25K in value trip. So 6 nights in Soniva Johnny. It's the hottest hotel where all the celebrities stay at.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm doing all these like Instagram campaigns for these hotels, helping them with their social media and management. So now we're at about 40 clients that are on monthly retainers, and yeah, things are going pretty well. Definitely blown up this past year.
Wow. So, like, where were you before all of this? What were you doing before, and how did you get started with social media and entrepreneurship?
Yeah, well, so before this, I studied. I got my degree was in Spanish, so I'm fluent in Spanish, and then health promotion. I was a personal trainer for 1 year, loved it. Taught me about sales, but then I was like working like 14-hour days, from like 5 a.m. to like 10, 11 p.m. at night. So it was just too much, and I got burnt out. After that, at that time, I was still like a dancer, so I was a professional dancer. Was on So You Think You Can Dance 3 times, auditioned each season, made it a little bit further, and then taught dance around the world. So before all the social media stuff, I was basically a dance teacher, traveling the world, teaching dance clinics everywhere I went. So like 50 countries now.
And I remember we talked, like, you taught around the world and you made money and you just traveled around the world, right? Teaching dance.
Yeah, exactly. So I just I decide like where I wanted to go to. Like, so let's say like maybe like Bangkok, Thailand. So I searched all like dance studios in Bangkok. All these studios popped up. I messaged them. I called them up. I'd say, hey, I'm coming your way. These are the dates. I'd love to teach a dance class at your studio. Let me know if you're interested. And pretty much did that all around the world and made it a full-time career.
So, like,
It's
how
really
many like countries have you been in? Or how many places?
Now I say I've been to like 55 countries.
Wow.
But see, the thing is like,
And how old are you?
I'm 31,
Okay.
and I mean, I know it's hard to tell because us like Koreans, like, dude, we look super young.
Never age.
You never know. You never know. But I'm 31, right? I've been to 55 countries. I've been to most of these countries like 5, 10 times because my way of traveling is like I want to go back and see my friends that I met. I want to go back and see how the country, the city's changed. Visit some old cafes that I used to go to. Things like that. That's my style of traveling. I have other friends that are like 31. They've been to like 200 countries. I'm like, that's crazy. So it's just different travel styles, but yeah, I love it. I love travel.
What have you learned, as you traveled a lot? Like, what are some things you've learned? And kind of, yeah, it expands your mind, right? But, like, what's the value for you in traveling?
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like if I'm not traveling, then I'm not living, I'm not growing, I'm not learning about myself, other people's lives and cultures. Like, that's so interesting and different to me. And so I feel like how I've been able to, like, advance so much in my career and my life um, is because of travel, right? So the things that I've learned from these other people is that is to understand people better because life is all about people. Like, whatever you're trying to do, you're trying to like sell your product, your service, you're trying to sell yourself to others. Like, being able to understand and 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 meet people and become friends with them and connect with them from different cultures and in different languages and all around the world. That's a lifelong skill that you're going to be able to use and apply to anything in life. So it's basically learning how to talk to people, listen to people, understand them, make them feel good.
Yeah, but I know, from what, like, I've known you for a while, and
Yeah.
you shared your story before, but you weren't always that confident, person who would be able to talk to people, right?
Yeah, like guys, man, like 10 years ago, like even when I was a kid, growing up, I couldn't say the letter R until I was in my 20s. Like I was diagnosed with a speech impediment, and basically I wanted to quit because I hated going to classes, and the teacher was like, if you quit, Zach, no one's going to be able to understand you. You probably won't amount to much, and yeah, you won't be successful in life. And I heard this when I was like 8 years old, right? And I believed that lie, so I never talked. So I was very shy, very nervous, not confident at all, low self-esteem. Um, school was a hard time for me, a very difficult time in my life where I was depressed, and yeah, until I found dance, and that kind of gave me my voice. And then after that, my confidence went up. I made more friends. I believed in myself. But still, I didn't say the letter R until I was in my 20s, like a sophomore in college, and that's when I learned to like talk to people, and I forced myself to talk because I'm like, if I could say the letter R and just talk normally, I could do anything in life. And so once that happened, I started to put myself out there.
Yeah, and I want to like talk about that because just because what one person said, just because of what one teacher said, that basically disables you in your mind from ever putting yourself out there. And so, like, I'm sure a lot of people can relate that, like, because of what someone said to them or what happened, like they just like it just disables them from ever even putting themselves out there again. And like for you, luckily you found dance to give you like that outlet of expression. But um, it's just so many people go through that of like not believing in themselves and just not even being willing to put themselves out there because they lack confidence, they lack that self belief. And so, is there anything like you could tell people like
Yeah,
to yeah.
the yeah, you're right. So the world is like crazy, and it's mean, and people say things that hurt you, that make you feel bad, right? We all have these wounds and these scars like inside, right? We've all been hurt, but it's like learning to ignore the hate messages, learning to ignore like this negativity, because a lot of people, they just take things too personally and they let it eat them up inside, and they believe those lies forever, and it depresses them and it holds them back. But I guess my advice is like, it's good to have your friends and other people tell you like what you need to hear to like learn and grow, maybe about your weaknesses, and having your friends and close loved ones like being critical of you, criticizing you on how you can improve. But they're saying that so that you can get better because they love you and they care about you, right? So for the other people that are out there, and we all have haters, it's good to listen to them, but not to believe those lies, and just to believe so much in yourself and to tell yourself that you can do it and that you have what it takes and that you're enough and that you're good enough. And if you surround yourself with other people that can build you up, affirm you, and encourage you, and you yourself are believing that, and constantly learning and growing and becoming better, eventually your dreams will come true, right? If you don't give up. So that's the thing, is staying persistent, consistent, and yeah, never giving up until one day it happens.
And like you're like a living example of it, right? And it's just like it's crazy how it all starts like in your mind, and like a lot of those self development books and gurus, they all say it really does start in your mind. Like your success starts with your mindset, which is why it's so important to like read and like feed yourself positive messages. Because if you don't, then there's just so much negativity in the world. You're just gonna that's all you're gonna take in if you're not like consciously feeding yourself, right? Positive affirmations and messages to yourself to build you up. So
Yeah, exactly. And just one more thing, it's like, guys, I was made so much, made fun of so much in high school and in middle school. Like, I didn't really have any friends at all, right? Because I couldn't talk normally. Like, when I was called to read in front of the class, like, my hands started sweating. I got super nervous. I hated public speaking. I hated doing talks in front of the class. And kids would always make fun of me. But, like, what I learned, what I learned is that Yeah, you got to do something that can build up your confidence, right? So for me, that was dance. Maybe it's like you learning how to do a backflip, learning how to do something crazy that like scares you, but you do it anyway. And then once you can like do it, you're like, I can freaking do anything. Like, and then you just keep building it up and building yourself up.
And it all starts with like that one step, right? You're not gonna
Yeah,
like conquer the world and speak to millions of people if you can't even go and conquer if you're speaking in front of your friends or in front of class or something like that, right? Like
yeah,
baby steps. So
exactly.
um, yeah, the same for me. When I first put myself out on social media, it took me like tons of tries to put myself out there. I was self conscious and like hands are sweaty, but like if you don't overcome that fear, then that fear is gonna just take over you. And it's not just gonna take over like that moment. It's gonna take over your relationships. It's gonna take over like every area of your life. And so
Yeah,
until you decide like you're not gonna stand for that anymore, then you're gonna keep living that way.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, so and I also want to like kind of ask you. So Zach's very good with people. He's very good at interacting with people and kind of just developing a connection with them. That's why he's been able to travel around the world and make these connections with millionaires and really successful people. And get free hotel stays because there's a lot of people with Instagram influence. They can't even get the deals he gets because of the way that he
yeah.
writes or the way that he communicates. So, like, what are some like give us some examples of that and like tips.
Yeah, so some good examples.
Yeah.
Guys, example like number one, you always have to express an interest, a genuine interest in someone. So whether it's on the plane or you're on the bus or wherever you are, compliment people, make them feel good, show them that you're interested in their lives and what they're doing, what they're reading. Like, oh, hey, what book is that? Or tell me about this book. It looks interesting. You know, things like that. Like being able to strike up a conversation anywhere it just starts with a smile, being nice to people and showing interest and like you care. So that's number one. And then two, like how I'm able to like make all these connections like at these hotels, these 5-star hotels that are 2K a night or 500 a night is okay, think about it. Like all these people that are there, they're paying that money. So they have to have a lot of money or they're probably pretty successful and have good businesses. So it's just maybe at the bar or like at the pool that I just ask them these questions. Like I just strike up a conversation and be like, yo, like where are you from? Like what are you doing? How long are you here? And then I'm just like super chill and nice about it. And they start to open up. I listen and I ask them a bunch of other questions like about their lives. I think because people love to talk about themselves. Or like number three, when I'm at an event, I get into these events for free as media and I get into the VIP rooms and I just interview them on my phone because everybody again likes to talk about themselves, share their story, talk about their business and their passion projects. And so I just ask them questions. I'm like, "Here guys, you have an audience right now that's live and I want to interview you and I want to ask you a few questions so that you can share some knowledge, drop some value for my fans. Does that sound cool?" And they're always like, "Yes, I'd love to." And then I exchange my business cards and I'm like, let's stay in touch. We can do some things. And then I hit him back up, and I send him the interview, and we hop on a call, and then we do business.
Cool. Yeah. So you don't go straight in for like the business card or like what can I get from you? It's just you develop that connection, right?
Yeah, because people are handing out business cards too fast. People are trying to like make connections too fast, sell things too fast. You need to slow down to go fast, right? You need to slow down and do the right things, which is expressing interest, complimenting, listening, making them feel understood while they're talking, right? And you guys can learn how to do that from this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Chapter 5. Yeah. Seek to understand, then be understood. That's how I got so good at listening.
Mm-hmm. Who's it by?
It's by Stephen Covey, and I read that chapter like 6 times, and I just applied, went back, read, applied, and improved my listening skills.
Yeah, and if you guys don't, like reading, you could use the audiobook. I have that on my audiobook. I'm still on it. I've been on it for a while, but
get through it.
But it's really good. And one thing I want to note is like, we stand out because as like first of all, as Asians, you know, like in Asian culture, you don't want to talk to, you know, people, especially who are not your race. You know, they have like this like mentality of just staying together. But like for you, you've been able to get out of that, and you've been able to like express interest in people despite their, you know, like their class or status or race, right?
It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter because, like, okay, maybe you guys are on the plane, you're sitting in economy, okay, and you're like, well, because I travel on economy sometimes. Sometimes say business, other times I'm in economy, and I'm sitting next to one, and maybe it's this really bigger person sits next to me. I'm just like, oh no, like I'm already big. You know, I've gained some weight because I'm eating so much, and I'm like, this is just not gonna work for like 12 hours, like, man. And then they like get up like 5 or 6 times to use the bathroom or stretch their legs, and it's just making me crazy, right? I'm like, man, this person is annoying me. But then what happens is they ask me a question, and you know, it makes me feel good, and I'm like, they're like, well, what are you gonna do here? Like, you see that we're going on the same flight. Like, what's your plans? They asked me that question, and then it's like, I let my guards down, and then I just answer them because you have to always be friendly. You never know who you're going to sit next to. And then this happened on my last trip, and it ended up being this Korean guy who owns like all the notebooks, like, and the biggest like paper and notebook company in Asia, right? So he has like factories all over Asia's multimillionaire. The reason why he was sitting in economy was because he booked a multi-flight country trip like me, like on Skyscanner, and so sometimes they put you in the economy because it doesn't work out like that on business class. And then we just talked for like 2 hours, and he dropped this crazy knowledge.
What was something he shared?
I mean, dude, he was just like writing this book about like left brain and then right brain type of thinking, and just, I mean, he spends all of his time like reading books and writing, and I guess like what he taught me is like, that I should be reading more, writing more, and the more books I read, the better writer I will be, because you get to see other people's like writing styles and their flow, and then that can improve my skill, which is something I'm trying to work on. Is another way to share and express.
Is there like a favorite book you have besides Seven Habits of Highly Effective People?
I mean, The Traveler's Gift, because I like to travel. It's like this guy goes on this journey in the past and meets all these famous people like King Solomon and Abraham Lincoln, and he asks them questions about life.
Is it like a fiction or?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Interesting.
And it's like this guy gets in a car accident, he passes out, goes into this coma, and then he goes on this journey.
Wow.
Because his life was so messed up, and he was about to quit and lose his family and job and everything, and then.
So he gets wisdom from all the like
yeah.
ancient Greece and.
Yeah, and then they taught him the skills and the things that he needed to make his life better, so he wouldn't lose it all.
Wow.
It's called The Traveler's Gift. So yeah, I like that book a lot.
Cool. Yeah, and to like kind of transition to social media, like so you're good at connecting with people in person, and on social media it's like a whole nother. First of all, you don't see the person behind the account sometimes, and they don't know you, and it's just like you don't know if you can trust them. So like, how have you developed connections through social media for you?
Yeah, well, when you have a big page, guys, you can pretty much talk to anybody and do anything for free. It's not like I deserve or I feel like I'm entitled to these free things, because I'm all about giving value and over delivering in value, so that I just get these free things like hotel stays. That's how it happens for me and how I've been able to do that. But also when you just message people, and you message them or you email them, it's actually just, I'm like, I take a look at their page and their products and their services and their website. I look them up on Google and Facebook sometimes. Yeah. If that's a person I want to connect with, I'm just like, man, you seem like a really interesting person, doing a lot of interesting things. I would love to connect on a Skype call and just hear more about your story, right? So that's that's usually what I do, and you never know who you're gonna meet, and you can meet and talk to anyone on social media.
Yeah,
That's how I met
that's
this
how
guy.
that's how he
That's
connected
how
with him.
this guy has met so many other people.
Yeah, it's actually crazy because a lot of people think, well, social media disconnects us, but actually you can use it to connect with people you might not have ever connected with, like like us. And it's just I think how you use it, and I think I want to point out like it's how you use it because a lot of times people come off across on social media as like I just want something from you instead of like providing value and seeing what you could do for them. But behind every big account or just any account, there's like a person behind it. So like what I was just on an interview, I was telling them that just reach out, see, develop like a genuine connection, like really get to know them instead of asking for something from them. And a lot of people don't even DM them or ask like direct message them or message them because they think they'll never see the message. But you'll be surprised at how many people will respond back, and especially if you come across as someone very just genuinely interested, like you said, in what they're doing. And you might develop like a business partnership, or they might help you out in some way. And and don't do it just to like be like in the back of your head, I want to get something. Like just genuinely connect. And I think that's what I guess like social media has led to that, but also you could like reverse that by changing your intention when you use social media, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well said, man.
So yeah, like for you, what are you working on now? Like what are your plans and
To get stronger. No, guys, like, I mean, I was injured, so I'm a dancer, right? I got injured a couple years ago. I hurt my back, had 2 surgeries, hurt my foot. So I've gotten out of shape from so much travel and so much good food and not exercising. So now's the time for me to like start working on my personal health and my spirituality too. Because as I was traveling, life goes up and down, finances up and down, faith up and down, health up and down, and both of those things are very important to me. And when they're very high, like my relationship with God and people and business and everything is just so much better because I have a clear head, I'm focused, I'm like in tune and present in the moment, and not all these other outside distractions and bad things aren't distracting me anymore because I'm able to focus on bigger things, which is, God and people. So to me, that's the next goal. As far as business wise, I'm trying to launch my other 2 academies in full launch mode. We've already done beta for Six-Figure Dancer Academy, teaching other choreographers how to scale, brand, sell, and market themselves, and teach dance clinics everywhere they go, just like I have. And then Tribe Influencer Academy is like my other one that just teaches normal people that have a passion and desire to see the world because it's so beautiful and I want people to explore it. But the truth is, travel can be expensive. So in this academy, I'm teaching normal people how they can leverage my Instagram network and get free travel and create awesome memories and learn about themselves, right? Because that's what life is about. So I'm focused on those 2 things, I guess, for business.
Like what would that look like to? What do you mean like your travel network?
Yeah, because so guys, I mean, think about it. Like, the reason I did this was to show that anybody can do it. If I can do it, you can do it, right? So I don't have a personal Instagram account. I mean, you guys do not need to have a big network, and you don't need to use like credit cards and save up points because I hate the points. I don't do that stuff, right? So when people get access to my academy, they get access to my 12 million travel network between me and my friends. And so what happens is that people can basically leverage our accounts and reach out to hotels. Okay, so they can say, hey, I'm Emily, I'm an Instagram influencer with a 12 million network, Tribe Influencer Network, and I'm coming your way and I'd love to stay at your hotel and collaborate and showcase your experience with my followers. In exchange, I can do this, this, and that.
Do you get like a cut or like what do you guys get? Oh,
Oh,
just from being a part of
yeah.
it. Or?
Well, so like people can become a part of it, and then I'm like, okay, because let's say that you have a trip coming up, like maybe you want to do a weekend getaway with your friend or your boyfriend or girlfriend or wife. Maybe you have a longer vacation that you want to plan with your friends in the summer. You can basically pay us for placement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can pay us um, um, like maybe it would cost you a few $100s to go on on our 2 million page and then our 100K page and then a few other pages, like a total of 5 pages, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we can get you like 5 nights for free in Bali.
And then you'll do the emailing or they do the email?
Yeah, so they gather the emails.
Yeah.
I help them put an email together. Well, in my academy, it has all the email templates, but they need additional help.
Okay.
I can help them and
Awesome.
seal a deal. So
Awesome. Yeah. So where can they find out more about that?
yeah, well, people are already seeing results right now.
Oh.
You can just go to tribeinfluencer.life. Tribeinfluencer.life
Okay.
is my academy.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. That's a
can
smart
check
way
that
to
out.
go about it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean like so once you get those launched and everything, like for you, I know you're in the middle of a relationship and all that, but
Yeah.
like I don't know, like what would you say to those who are like seeking direction? You know, like there's a lot of people who are looking for direction. I know I was there and just kind of lost, and they're just maybe even listening to this podcast and thinking about, wow, like that's cool, Zach. You're doing this, and Ray, you're doing podcasting, meeting these cool people. But like, how about me? You know, like what's something you would like say to them? Is there...
Well, I mean, guys, if you don't know where you're going, then how will you ever end up, right? So you kind of need to, in order to find that direction, you need to look inside of yourself, reflect, write, journal, but you also need to ask for other people's opinions, people who've been there, done that. You need to find online mentors. You need to read books about personal development and finding your strengths, right? And then also just trying things, right? Just doing things, because I feel like if you have no direction, then make something happen. Set a direction, set goals, make a course, make a journey, go on an adventure, right? Document it, create content, write about it, share it. And through these different experiences, by just simply doing these things, you're going to be able to find yourself. The way that I found myself was through travel, studying abroad. 2 times, Spain and Mexico. I caught the travel bug. Since then, been all over the place. So I think by maybe doing something that you've always wanted to do would be a good way to find yourself and learn about yourself. And then it's just all self-knowledge, like learning the little things that make you happy, little things that make you tick and angry, and just that discovery of yourself. And by knowing yourself more, then you'll know what to do.
It's kind of like Gary Vaynerchuk says it a lot, but self awareness is like one of the most important. I don't know if you call it a skill, but it's very important for you to just be self aware of who you are, how you're wired, and what you love. Like for me, I love talking to people, sharing their stories, and like inspiring people, empowering them. You know,
Yeah.
And
Eucalyptus oil.
yeah, and like just giving them like hope and inspiration, and so and advice, and
Yeah.
so practical advice. So, are there any kind of practical tips you can give them that they could work on right away?
I mean, I would start by asking your very close friends, like people that know you the best, people that have known you for a very long time, people that you share your secrets with, like asking them straight up to be honest with you to um, how you can improve yourself, of how you can become better, and start with the person in the mirror, which is you. But each one of us has these different blind spots that we don't know about, and it takes other friends and loved ones and people close to us to point them out. And by by having that humble mindset of like and accepting like, okay, I do have some things that I can work on, And by working on those things and then developing yourself, you're gonna create a mentality like that's more positive, that's more humble, a growth mindset. You guys need to have a growth mindset because your attitude is everything. So finding different ways to improve your attitude and way of life, and just simply making stuff happen and taking initiative and not being afraid of failure, like that's the most practical way. Other is just finding someone that you really respect and look up to, and saying that like, hey, I respect the hell out of you. I respect the heck out of you because you've done this, this, and that, and I've been watching you on your journey. Do so many amazing things and help so many amazing people, and I just want to let you know that I really admire you, and I would love to learn from you. I'd love to, hear your story. I'd love for you to mentor me, even if it's just, you know, once a month or however much time you could have. Like, I would love it if you could just pour some knowledge into me and some wisdom. And when you're hungry like that, whether it's your college professor, your high school teacher, anyone online that's written something that's inspired you, don't be afraid to reach out to them, guys. Like, that's how I found a lot of my online mentors, is because I just randomly wrote them, or I randomly called them, or I randomly messaged them on Instagram. The world is amazing, and you can connect with anyone, but make those people feel appreciated, respected, and loved. And when you do, that's going to come back to you, and you'll learn a ton of things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And before we wrap up this interview, I always end with this question. And I don't know if a lot of people know why, but the question is, if you could go back in time to your younger self when you're like lost or looking for direction, or just looking for some kind of guidance, and like what would that be? And the reason I ask that is because I've been in that place of not having had, bless you, not having
Cats.
had. We have 3 cats here. But yeah, I've been in that place of not having had someone to like look up to and really get that advice from. So, I'm sure for you, you've been in that space and you found your way out of it, and you're where you are today. But what would be something you would say to your younger self if you could go back in time, or maybe to someone who is in the same place you used to be?
Yeah, I think my biggest advice would be like, to my younger self would be like, Zach, you have what it takes. I believe in you. I trust you. I love you. Like, you're enough. Like, you're good enough. Like, you're gonna face some hard times in life. You're gonna get hit down, like knocked down. Life's gonna throw you a bunch of punches and curveballs. But in the end, it's all gonna be worth it if you can make it and you persevere and you find good friends and find good mentors, and it's all gonna be all right. So I was just a kid, just like hoping for that, like wondering if I could ever reach my potential. If I could say the letter R, like I said, if I could say the letter R, then I could do anything in life. So it's these little things in life that kind of knock you down, but like, don't let them knock you all the way down so that you can't get up, because I failed maybe 110 times, and then finally I stood up 111th, and I made it. But I got knocked down a lot of times, but I kept standing up. So that's just the way of life. That's just the way of life. You just gotta keep moving and failing forward.
Yeah, it's like what they say, right? Like, double the rate of failure, and then you'll find your success, right? And so,
Yeah.
I just wanna.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not what I thought of, but it's true. When you hear all these successful people talk, they failed way more than a lot of their peers, and that's why they're where they are at today. Like Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, he was rejected from KFC, and like Walt Disney was told his ideas were not creative enough, and so it's like, but they failed at such a young age. They were able to learn and grow from it. So definitely just take a risk, whatever it is that you just thought of through this podcast. Just whatever that idea was, just take action on that. So
Take a risk. Just do it. Just make it happen.
yeah.
Dude, why not?
Well, what's there to lose, right?
Yeah, why not? Just go for it.
Yeah, awesome. So
Do
awesome,
it.
Zach.
Do it, man.
Thanks
Dude!
for being on the interview.
Dude,
It's
I
good
love this
having
guy.
you.
Thanks for having me. It's been
Yeah.
fun, man.
Yeah,
It's been
thanks,
fun.
man.
Appreciate you guys.